How's it going, shipheads? Welcome back to Trek Mods. Welcome back to the 25th and should be the final part of the Excelsior refit and upgrade build series. I'm your cheap engineer, Jody LaForgery. Here's where I'm at with the old Excelsior. So there's a few little finishing touches that need to be done. Got to put all the decals on. Got all my little lenses to put in. And I know I said I wasn't going to worry about putting something over this. I was cleaning up my area here, and I found the little fins that are supposed to go on the nacelles of the Discovery Enterprise kit, Captain Pike's Enterprise. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim the little tabs off, and then I can put these right in between, maybe that way or this way. I'll figure out which way I want them oriented. Maybe like that, just to kind of separate that red from the blue there. So I'm gonna add those. It's not gonna be a big deal for me to do that. I just gotta throw some paint on it. I'll trim these little tabs, move this pointy piece away. I'll glue those on and get back to my regularly scheduled programming. Okay, this is a fret leveling beam, perfectly flat surface. It's got some pretty fine sandpaper on there. Just want to kind of, this has a little bevel on either side, so I'm just going to smooth it down, keep that angle. Excellent. Okay, just do the same thing to the other three. So got little bumps on there from the sprue. Perfect. Yeah, fret leveling beam. Good tool to have for model building and leveling your frets. Alright, cool. Get these things on there. They're almost the right color. Just not as silvery. I'm not sure if I'm even going to paint it. It's pretty close. Won't see it once it's in space. Let's get these things glued on. Alright, here's our shady lady here. So, got a couple options. Once I decide, gotta make sure I do them all the right way. I think I'll leave that really pointy part on there. Just gives it a little extra detail. But do I want it up or down? Then I'll have to bend that or cut it off. Yeah, I think I'll trim off the little pointy parts. I'd rather it be pointless, just like all my other endeavors. Leveling beam again. This has different grains of sandpaper on it here. Don't need much, so I'll go with the smoother side. It's about a 600 grit there. Bang. Okay. I like it right there. I think I'll put the thinner end towards the front. I could narrow this down so it fits inside here. I don't know. I kind of think it should sit right up on top like that. So I'm going to line the corner of it up with the end of this grilly piece here. Bedtime for the bird?
Yeah. I just seen if you wanted to say goodnight to you, but...
Come here, bird. Want to say goodnight to the shipheads?
You keep the pocket.
Good night, shipheads. Good night, buddy. All right, drying time. I'll give that some time. Come back, put the little lenses in. That's not bad. I like that. Gives it a little extra dimension. Down there. And then you get kind of a little gap still. That'll get cleaned up once the putty dries, but I think that's kind of cool. A little extra detail. Something like what I wanted. But it just saved me some time and effort there by using those. Alright. Okay, let's get some of these little lenses in here. Start with the tail end, I guess. A wee drop of glue. And I'm just gonna dip it ever so slightly in there. I may have to remove those. You drill that out a bit more. Well, there's still not much there. I think what happened was the first time I went to shove it in there, it was a little too long, and I poked it and damaged the light. Well, the light is still on, I can see it, but I think I poked it out of its position, so it's not right up against the fiber optic there. Let's see, we can see our officer's lounge. I only got 3 windows in there, but for the thrusters, I just drilled about halfway through the plastic. And I'm looking at the decals, and they give you the decal that seems to wrap around. The bottom of this didn't have any impression like on this part, so it looks like when I put the decal on, it's just gonna wrap around to this extra little bit that I added with the 3D pen filament. It's just gonna wrap around onto that. Here's a little shuttle coming out of the shuttle bay. So I'm going to put it on a stand. I got the one for the 650 scale Enterprise Refit. I think I'm going to use that. Might as well. For the big 650 scale ship, I'll make a fancier stand for that. So the next problem I encountered was I needed to get my I couldn't get my wires through the tube here because of the insulators, just the way I had it wired up. Had to get that out, and in the process ended up disconnecting one of the tiny little wires that leads to my shuttle bay area. So I had to pop this piece off. Came off pretty easy, but the problem is I had to fix that from the inside, and it fits inside, but I won't be able to press it in place from the outside. So I'll have to change my approach to this. I think what I'll do when I put this back is I'll just make a little border, like a frame around it, so that I can just inset it right into there, catch it with the little flange, and it should be good to go. But that's not my concern right now. I have to reattach these wires together. So I've got my main set for all the lights and my other set for the shuttle bay. I should have just kept them all together. I was told by one of the viewers that I should wire them differently. I had them in series, I guess. I'm still learning this wiring and electronic stuff. But with something this small, it's just normal lights. I don't have any flashing things or any resistors or capacitors or anything like that. It's just plain lights. The problem I was having is that my batteries were dying in my little box right here. So once I changed those, everything brightened up. I think I could have got away with leaving the shuttle bay area on the same circuit as I was doing. I could see when you're working on a larger model with, you know, different things going on. You got flashing patterns for your marker lights, and you know, you might have phasing in and out effects for your warp engines or things like that. Yeah, you got to put everything on its own circuit. But for something like this, I don't really think it was necessary. So my task now, I've got a small piece of this shrink tube here, a couple little ones, and by doing this makes it just a little easier and cleaner. Also, I had to remove my wires from here because I want to use the stand from the Enterprise model, but this steel tube wouldn't quite fit in there. 5mm tube, 4.7mm hole. So I just drilled that out a bit, enough for the tube to get in there, get a nice solid mount. So I'm going to wire these together, light it up, install the tube, and then I'm going to start putting decals on. Alright, wires, and boom, just like that. Shuttle bay. Shuttle bay's back online. Okay, so now get those packed into there, and I'm going to figure out a way to put this cover back on. Kind of fortunate that I didn't end up using the little module that they give you to go in there. I don't know, some people say it's a cargo bay and a shuttle bay, but I've seen other people that have worked on Star Trek say that originally, on the original Excelsior anyways, the NX-2000, that part was meant to be where the transwarp drive was. So, who knows for sure. Whatever, now it's that. And you can use your own imagination. Pretend that's a door that opens to whatever you think is behind it. Alright, I'm gonna get set up with some paper products. Alright, let's see. Got a sketchbook. Grab a piece out of here. So there's what I want. So I want to go a tiny bit smaller. Tiny bit bigger. I think I can get away with just the width of the pencil lead. Okay. Piece of this. Got a piece of this. This is very, very thin and flimsy. It's about, I don't know, 1/2 millimeter in thickness. So kind of try to waste as little as possible. This stuff can very easily be cut with the scissors. Okay, hopefully that's a little bigger. Trim a little here. I'll get that with the file and make it nice and smooth after. Okay, so now I gotta cut this part out. I'll make this wide to start, and then if I need to thin it out, I'll thin it out. So I'm just gonna go beyond the inner line that I made. And this flat stock here is so thin that I should just be able to cut right through it with a couple of rounds of the blade here. I'll get a line scribed with this one, and then I'll switch to a bit more of a sturdy blade. And the thickness of that one is forcing me to put more pressure on it than I want to. I just stuck my arm on the soldering iron. It's off, but it's still a little bit warm. Good thing it was off. That would have been a burn. Yeah, so I'll just go with this. A little less pressure. I'll have to go around a couple more times. That's all. Little extra effort never hurt anybody. Unless you're putting that effort into punching someone, then yeah, I guess it hurts. I'm just kind of carefully going around the corner here, just making little perforations. Yeah, I should be able to crack it off now. Let's see how I did. That's not the bad. Just gonna clean up a few spots. Where's my very gentle file? Okay, we've got a little frame here. That'll act like a flange to put that back in place. I just gotta glue that on. Alright, so I don't want to end up with glue inside in all the little ridges there. So I'm going to do this very carefully. Put the glue on there. Just going to put a tiny dot of glue for now, so that I may still move it if I need to. Start at the corners here, just right there. Because I can't exactly see if I'm centering this from this side of it. Just do my best to that's pretty good. I'll see if I can get away with just getting it in the edge. Just kind of in the seam here should be enough to hold that in place. Okay, I think that'll do. Give that a minute, because I'd like to be able to just get the edge of this a little bit, just to ensure that I don't have to force it into this hole here. I also want this lip as thin as possible. I lined it up here the way I want it. I'm going to take a little off of there. I don't want it to be big and bulky. Oh, I should be using my block here. There we go. One more little thing I want to do is just touch up the paint. Well, I think that looks a lot nicer. What do you guys think?